Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Speaking of Kansas, I'm sure you all remember President Eisenhower is the one who started NASA in 1958. But it was President Kennedy, as several of you have stated, that gave us a definitive goal to get to the moon. And as a young boy, I saw that before my eyes, the whole country wrapped around that. Each of you get 1 minute. What's your big, hairy, audacious goal, your idea? It took 11 years, 58 to 69, to get to the moon. Where are we going to be in 11 years? Dr. Rollett, we'll start with you, and each get 1 minute.
I think we're going to see that manufacturing is a much more clever operation. It understands the materials. It understands how things are going to last, and it draws on a much wider set of disciplines than it currently does. I have to admit, I don't exactly have an analogy to going to the moon, but that's a very good challenge.
What I like about your idea is that's going to add to the GDP. Our GDP grows when we become more efficient, not when federal government sends dollars to states for social projects. So I love adding to GDP. Dr. Nielsen, I guess you're next.
So I would love it if every one of our assets, and I mentioned there are about 300,000 globally, had their own digital twin. So every aircraft engine had its own digital twin. A digital twin is a computer model that when the asset is operating, we're collecting data. So imagine an aircraft engine taking off. As soon as that aircraft engine takes off, we pull the data back from the aircraft engine, we update the computer model. That computer model becomes a digital twin of the physical asset. If every one of our 300,000 plus assets had a digital twin, we'd be able to know with very good precision when it need to be maintained, when it need to be pulled off wing, what kind of repairs, when it went to a repair shop, what kind of repairs need to occur.
You can do that with satellites and a whole bunch of things.
Oh, we can pull back data from a whole variety of different pathways. It's then utilizing that data in the most efficient way, which we use machine learning and AI type techniques.
Maybe get rural internet to rural places by doing that, right?
Yep.
Okay, we better go on. Dr. Yelick.
So I think one of the biggest challenges is understanding the microbiome and being able to use that information about the microbiome in both health applications, in agriculture, in engineering, materials, and other areas. So I think that we already know that your microbiome, your own personal gut microbiome, is associated with things like obesity, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and many other disorders. We don't understand it as well in agriculture, but we're looking at things like taking images of fields, putting biosensors into the fields, and putting all this information together to understand how to improve the microbiome, to improve crop yield, and reduce other problems. So I think it's about both understanding and controlling the microbiome, which is a huge computational problem.
Okay, Dr. Kasthuri.
The thing I would really like to have done in 11 years is understand how brains learn. And it reminds me of something that I should have said earlier about the differences between artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, and how brains learn. The main difference is that for many of these algorithms, you have to provide them thousands of examples, millions of examples, billions of examples, before they can then produce inferences or predictions that are based on those examples. For those of you with children, you know that that's not the way children learn. They can learn in one example. They can learn in half an example. Sometimes I don't even know where they're learning these things. And when they learn something, they learn not only the very specific details of that thing, they can immediately abstract it to a bunch of other examples. For me, this happened with my son the first time he learned to recognize what a tiger was. An image of a tiger he could see, and then as soon as he learned that, he could see a cartoon of a tiger. He could see a tiger upside down. He could see the back of a tiger or the side of a tiger, and from that first example, be able to learn all of these other general applications.